everybody. I am so glad that you could join me today as we go over some agility training tips that I have for you. Before we dive in, I wanted to give you just a little bit of information about myself and my background. Just like you, I was a 4-H'er too. This was a picture of me, although it's about 35 years ago, where I was just getting started in the dog project with my two dogs, Rusty and Cricket. See if you can figure out who was who. I was lucky to live in Riley County, where we had a really active 4-H dog club, an involved leader in Cheryl May, and we got to do a lot of fun activities with our dogs. But we were also one of the first in the state to participate and promote the sport of agility. So it's something that's been with me since very early on and has grown not only into my hobby, but also my career. Of course, I also took other projects. My family raised cattle, so I was involved with showing my steers, horses, and of course, cooking, sewing, all those other projects that go along with it. But I kept circling back to the dog project is where I really found my most enjoyment. And one of my favorite times of year was fall because it meant state fair. And then shortly after that was the state 4-H dog conference at Rock Springs Ranch. Oh, those were really good memories for me, and particularly enjoying competing in the dog bowl with my friends from my county. Some of you guys might recognize this young gentleman here. After high school and college, I trained service dogs for Kansas Specialty Dog Service for about 7 years, but still kept getting pulled back to how much I enjoyed competing in agility and helping others in the sport. So in 2002, I decided to make it my full-time career choice. In 2006, I made my first international team. Here I am with Sky. We were members of the AKC World team that competed at the Agility World Championships in Switzerland that year. And then I was also lucky enough with my Border Collie Soleil. We made 8 international teams together and competed all over Europe. And we were also lucky to win some medals over there as well. So a really cool experience, not only to walk in opening ceremonies representing your country, but also to stand on the podium and hear your national anthem play for you and your dog is quite an experience. I am a co-owner of All Star Dog Sports in Blue Springs, Missouri. So there's our facility. We have trials, different events there, training, weekly training classes. So I train and teach here myself, as well as I travel over the United States and North America teaching seminars. And I also do online classes where I've got students all over the world. So it's funny how this little sport that kind of was introduced to me through 4-H in my county has now become something that's gotten me friends and acquaintances all over the world, and something that we all share our love for. I always enjoy looking back at old photos of me competing with my dogs in agility when we first started. This was with Sandy at probably a local show that we had. Agility back then was very much about focus, about control, kind of healing the dog through the obstacles. And I'll tell you guys, there's obstacles out here my dogs would not know today. And you're looking at being in the competitive world of agility, nationally and international events, which there are international events for juniors. The obstacles are much more streamlined. You have A-frame dog walk teeter are the contact obstacles. You have the table. There are some jumps, tunnel, and weave pulls, and we don't have the more variety of like the sway bridge and the swing plank and the crawl tunnel. So most likely your dogs have learned obstacles that mine never will, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's always important to look at how things have evolved with time. Other things that have evolved since I ran, for example, this trial was outdoors on a concrete parking lot. We wouldn't even consider doing that with our dogs nowadays because it's just not safe on their bodies. This was a tunnel, which was just kind of fabric over a metal hoop system with, a wooden base, which I kind of laugh at thinking about what my dogs would do going through that nowadays. Again, so it's evolved equipment-wise has changed. Our safety aspect has changed. The training aspect has changed because, this is still precision. This is still, my dog has to do it and be controlled in her movements and do the obstacles correctly. But there's a huge speed factor to it, right? It's about doing it as quickly as we can. To me, it's what makes it fun, right? How well can I train my dog to do these things as fast as she can? So a good example is those weave pulls. When I started in agility, And we did weave poles. We had 12 separate little poles that we handmade. And it was, we taught them as 12 separate obstacles: out, in. And we kind of helped push and pull the dog through the weave poles. Well, that's not going to be very fast. So nowadays it's about teaching the weave poles as one obstacle. Get in, wiggle through them until you get to the end, and do it as fast as you can. And that really, for me, is what makes agility fun, and what really elevates the level of competition. Not only how fast can you do it, but how well have you trained your dog to do that? So today, what I am going to share with you are some training tips that will help everybody, no matter what level you're at with your dog, and also no matter what equipment you might have. Some of the tips I'm going to share are going to be maybe basic relationship games that you can play with your dog to improve them on that very basic level. Clear up to, I will talk about some more specific things as far as obstacle training, that you don't need to have the obstacles at home to teach your dog. So I love about agility is that you don't always have to have all the equipment or access to all the equipment on a regular basis to be able to train the skills for your dog that are going to help you, help your teamwork and help your dog understand what their job is. So let's dive into it.